Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram is at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we're talking Real Housewives of Potomac, and I've got another Monique video on her time on lip service that specifically is discussing the video leak of her and her former co-host Jason Weems when she had the radio show and how they were together. It looked like one was them ziplining and another one where they were both in the cart and he was laying down. And Monique is alleging that Chris Samuels, her ex-husband, is the one that leaked it and that the video came from a former friend, which I presume is none other than Cookie, y'all. But in this video that I want to talk about, that I'm surprised none of the blogs are talking about, is an allegation that is going to be in Monique's upcoming book. I believe it's coming out in January, that alleges that Chris put hands on her. That he allegedly choked Monique, y'all. Held her up against the wall, had his hand around her neck, grabbing her neck up against the wall, and this was allegedly in front of witnesses. No. Why isn't anybody talking about this? Listen, I don't care who you like or dislike. You know what I'm saying? But that's not acceptable. If this is true, this is not acceptable. This is unacceptable in every capacity. Like, if what Monique is describing Chris in this lip service interview with Angela Yee, it is giving a KORDELL from Real Housewives of Atlanta MARTELL type of hybrid. The reason why I say a KORDELL MARTELL hybrid is because I feel like KORDELL is a good comparison in that former NFL star had made millions of dollars, right? But was financially stingy. Financially, like you had to do everything on their terms because they were the NFL star. They were the NFL athlete. So you got to do everything on their terms. Now, not all athletes are like this, but these two in particular, very, very similar, right? And basically had prenups and everything else to where, you know, Portia had to basically start over. Monique says allegedly that the prenup, that she just added up all of the years that she was his actual assistant and everything else, and that allegedly there's no child support or no alimony or whatever else. And we don't know the details as far as who is paying for the kids and schooling and medical bills and all of this and all of that. But none of the less, you guys, that is the component of the KORDELL aspect of it all. The KORDELL and Chris Samuels, you know, similarities to where everything was on their terms. You had to be this certain type of wife. You had to present a certain type of way towards them or else. Or there was going to be consequences, or they were not going to be feeling it. They weren't going to be featuring you, all this and all of that. Where the MARTELL component comes into this. The MARTELL component that comes into this is the very messy and inappropriate behavior that Monique is alleging that Chris Samuels is doing. Which is, it sounds like Chris Samuels is pulling a MARTELL in that he allegedly showed those kids those videos of Monique and another man, Jason Weems, and tried to, you know, tarnish their mom's name. And I guess tried to insinuate that mommy was cheating on daddy, that mommy was playing daddy, right? To maybe try to turn the kids against her. This is no different from Martell trying to, you know, put out any male association that Mel had and say that that was her new man, say that that was her boyfriend. Remember Martell showing up to a date Mel was on, and remember, you know, Martell trying to get the kids involved and everything else and try to make it seem like Mel was the bad guy and everything else. And remember the allegations about the bodyguard, you guys, that were in the court documents and trying to make it seem like, you know, there's some romantic relationship there. No. And so, and then also, allegedly Chris Samuels sending these videos, sending these screenshots to multiple people, to multiple parties, not caring who will listen. That sounds like Martell with the revenge P. Right? Sending that to his co-stars and everything else. Sending the video and people seeing the video and the cast admitting to seeing the video and knowing about it for a couple of years. Chris Samuels being cool with Monique's ops on or off the show of the Housewives. Martell, again, the same thing. And again, if they were not friends, or if they were friends, they're not friends anymore because Martell made sure to ensure that everybody turned against Mel and keeps making allegations. Monique said that Chris Samuels has a folder of her. Has a folder of her that he still to this day weaponizes. And doesn't seem to have let go of the divorce. Made a comment that I guess Chris Samuel said to somebody that Monique can still change her mind after a couple of months of the divorce being finalized. What? No. I've never heard of that before. I have never heard of that before, but it sounds like Chris Samuels is a menace. Is controlling, and is obsessed with Monique. And Monique said she had to come out and say something because she thought she was going to have a peaceful co-parenting. She thought by being quiet that Chris would leave her alone. She thought by not saying anything about him, Chris would stop. Who does that sound like? That sounds like Melody Cherie Rogers. That she thought being quiet and not discussing all of the horrible and harmful things Martell was doing to her behind the scenes, that eventually this would stop and they could just focus on the kids and co-parent. But the problem is you're inserting the kids into madness. And I don't know if this is because he didn't want Monique to come back on the show or he wants to be on the show. He wants a flute. I don't know. But it's just weird. But it sounded like Monique was threatened by Chris with both of those videos to prevent her from coming back to Real Housewives of Potomac, and also would use those videos as a threat as it pertained to her writing her book. So now it makes me wonder, all of these previous times that she was asked to come back to Real Housewives of Potomac and she turned it down, that perhaps it was this threat of these videos. But I have a question. How is it that all of these alleged friends of Monique hate her guts? I don't understand. Wasn't the other friend, the former friend Gigi, that was spreading the rumor about the trainer, and then it got so bad that people were trying to insinuate that the youngest child, I believe, wasn't Chris's? Like that's how far it went with the former friend. And now you got Cookie on the show, who, is allegedly behind this, new stuff with the videos with her and Jason Weems and everything else. No. And now these ABUSE allegations, right? Because we kind of alluded to, emotional and verbal ABUSE, right? That was kind of obvious. And potentially financial ABUSE as well. But physical ABUSE, at least one incident is one incident too many of grabbing somebody by the neck and having them hauled up against the wall like that in front of witnesses. And you're talking about you're trying to push through, but basically one of the chapters in your book was basically like, I'm depleted. I'm literally dying because I am preaching about self-love and I am absolutely miserable. How can I set this example for the kids if I am staying with somebody that I can't stand anymore, that is making my life HE-double-L? But I really implore y'all to listen to the Angela Yee lip service interview with Monique, y'all. Because I want y'all, when Monique is describing Chris, it's giving KORDELL and MARTELL hybrid. Of the MARTELL side of things, of him using the kids as pawns and trying to turn the kids against their mother, and then having all of these screenshots and everything else with Monique, with at least one other guy, and who knows what else is in this folder, right, of Monique's, right? But trying to, do this to anybody who listen. Why do you have Charisse on speed dial? Why do you have the housewives that don't mess with Monique on speed dial? Why are you answering on like the second ring to Charisse's call? You're not married to Charisse or have a relationship or an entanglement with Charisse. Make it make sense. Like, it's so crazy to me, you guys, that this has happened. But same thing with KORDELL, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where the KORDELL comparisons come in, to where, yes, this is a retired NFL player and a retired NFL athlete, but had very old school, very traditional views of what he views a wife as and what a wife should and shouldn't do. But then it gets to a point where there's, resentment involved. You feel like you've completely lost yourself and you're unhappy. And you feel like you're trying to do everything right and do everything that they want you to do, and it's still not enough. No. So, nonetheless, you guys, I want to know what y'all think about this. I want to know if y'all are picking up what I am putting down, that Chris Samuels is not the nice guy that was portrayed on the show. And same thing with Martell. Martell, for the most part, even though they do show him, turning up on the cameras, but they would also show him pretending to be this good guy that was non-existent, you guys. Like, this is just... And again, I know there's going to be mixed reviews on Monique, but nonetheless, any form of ABUSE is just not okay. It is just not okay, and it could explain a lot of Monique's behavior now as to why she was always upset and always angry and getting into it with these ladies, because it could be a projection of how unhappy she was at home, and obviously was not, trying to go back and forth with Chris Samuels, but had no problem, trying to beat the brakes off of Candace, right? Or getting into it with Robin and the umbrella, right? And all of this and all of that. But it's 100 times worse on the home front dealing with Chris Samuels. Make it make sense. So there's that. That is it. That is all. Es todos, es final, es finito. It's the end of the road. It's the end of the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.